Welcome in. This is your odds checker betting preview for this week's Northern Trust. I'm Rick Gehman, that right there, Geoff Fienberg. And Jeff, if you like good fields, if you like the best players in the world, boy, do I have some news for you, because this is absolutely stacked this week.
Yeah, I mean, many would say, I think it's a fair case when you really do break it down. This, in many ways, is the best field of the entire year in golf, superseding majors, superseding the Players' Championship. You could argue it's the hardest event to win in many ways. This deep into a season, so many guys are in good form. Everyone here has made the playoffs for a reason. So yeah, this is no pushover on one of the most beautiful golf courses in America.
Yeah, that's right. The form, I think, is really the key. You have to earn your way into this with good form, and that's what we're seeing. The only golfer who's qualified for this event who is not teeing it up is Louis Oosthuizen, so it's a field of 124 golfers, all heading to Liberty National to compete for this championship. And if we look at the grid, if we pull up Odds Checker, it is a familiar name at the top, Jeff. It's Jon Rahm. He is the favorite. 11-1 is the best number. That's from FanDuel. Other places have him at 9 or 10-1. And we continue to see respect for our Open champion, our champion golfer of the year, Colin Morikawa, checking in at 18-1, along with our defending champion, Dustin Johnson, also 18-1, and Jordan Spieth at a similar price. When you're building your card, how close to the top of this board are you going to end up getting?
Pretty close, but it's the fact that there were so many attractive numbers. It's allowing me to do some things just behind these guys, Rick. I haven't touched these guys. Rahm hasn't played in a month. I'm still worried he could blow the doors off this thing. DJ, there's no secret about his affinity for this course, and we all, at least I've expected, I feel a lot of his struggles have been overblown, so it would shock nobody to see him rise to the moment right now. But I need your opinion on something.
Okay.
Why, when we get to a major, are there 7 or 8 guys under 20-1, but this week there are 4? It's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me money because I'm going to let the units fly on the next tier, I think, Rick, and beyond that. But I don't know. I feel like there's so many good or at least fair numbers this week. So why is this so different than a major?
I don't know. I wonder if it has anything to do with the volume that these books are planning on taking. Probably. But I don't know, because I had a similar sentiment. I think a couple of these guys are interesting options for kind of your favorite fantasy site, but I have not touched them in the betting market because I have circled Rory McIlroy. He is 22-1. I have a feeling I'm not going to be alone in this. He is looking like early 2020 Rory McIlroy. That version, the version of piling up top 5 finishes, the win at the WGC HSBC, it's that version of Rory right now.
So I said already today, Rick, it's like old Rory, but the new Rory number that they've been putting out for the last bit.
That's
old
a good
Rory
play.
Form, new Rory number. So like you, like many, you could call it groupthink, but I think we were all there independently. I didn't even talk to Mayo about anything. Both of us there. Other people, it's hard to ignore the dominating statistics that are coming from Rory at a number north of 20. So I'm with you like many. I'm going to dump quite a few on Rory this week.
Yeah, if you hang a 2 in front of Rory's name, you have my full attention. He's 22-1 across the board. Our gold medalist, Xander Schauffele, also in that boat. But this second tier. I don't even call it a second tier. A lot of these guys are top tier talent. It's Xander, it's Brooks, it's Justin Thomas, but they're not getting the same level of respect from odds makers. If you go with Rory, can you pair him with somebody else here? Does that mess up the integrity of the rest of your card, or is it just Rory here?
No, it doesn't mess up the integrity of the rest of my card, and I'll tell you why for a few reasons. For starters, we're 120 guys here, Rick. 124, sorry. In many ways, this is almost like the last real kick at it, but like next week, we're down to 70. It's harder. The betting numbers, will be, I feel, sharper, not like we're getting this week. And certainly by East Lake, it's like Tournament of Champions type odds board. 30 men sort of does that. So this is like the last kick at the can. And in many ways, my units, I'm giving her this week. So there's a few guys here that I like. It doesn't mess with the integrity. The fact that I do believe this leg of the FedEx Cup, this event in and of itself, allows for, I've been burned by this before at a couple majors this year, and even you could say the answer win a couple weeks ago, citing history at WGCs recently. But I would make the case that we're at a finite number of guys who can win an event like this, in my opinion, and we're getting great numbers on guys in that area. And in my opinion, there's so few that can win. That will always bite me in the ass when I say it. But if I get burned, I get burned. But I'm going to swing that this thing's coming from 20 to 40 to 1.
Yeah, that's how I'm treating it too. Almost just like a jacked up WGC event where I want to pile up some of these big time names. But the next one that I clicked is Bryson DeChambeau. I'm addicted to this guy. I can't really stop. I know he wins at a prolific clip. I'm worried about the New York fans just giving it to him at Liberty National. I mean, this whole Brooksy thing has traveled with him, and I don't think he's going to get reprieve just outside of New York City. But he's 29-1 on FanDuel, which is just getting dangerously too long for a guy who has cleaned up the putter, has kind of fixed the approach game. We know he wins a lot. I guess it's probably one of the riskier bets here, but if you're talking about pure win equity, Bryson eats up a chunk.
Yeah, I totally agree with that part. There's a boomer bust element totally with Bryson, but from a strictly outright win market, you're willing to take that risk. Right now, I'm staring at Bryson and trying to decide, because I've made a move a little farther back, but even Justin Thomas at 28-1, Rick, that feels incredibly attractive. I, like you, though, have some Bryson fanboy tendencies. And I feel like I was, messaging you, DMing you on the Abe Answer WGC win, saying, I can't believe I didn't bet Bryson. I was so adamant that he was going to come out amazing after all that sort of kerfuffle with the equipment post the Open Championship, getting the COVID out of the Olympics. And I just got pushed off that in the end. And I wasn't happy to see him gag it away on Sunday. He didn't play very great, despite some of the other stories that kind of got out there. He didn't play well, even before late in the round. Could have been out of bounds early. But yeah, Bryson or Justin Thomas, if you almost wanted to make a 3-man power card of Bryson, JT, and Rory, you could do that, or exchange any of them for Brooks. There's some really good opportunities. That's sort of what I was speaking about. But I'm going to make one decision between Bryson and JT. I won't be able to ignore both of them at 28 and 29-1.
It's absolutely wild. I think you're already building a card around someone longer than this, I believe, is what you alluded to. So where are we going here as we enter into the Daniel Berger, Patrick Cantlay, Scotty Schefflers of the world?
You started it off right there. I am one of those people who cannot quit Daniel Berger right now. Go watch the video Rick and I did talking about our Ryder Cup projections out here on the Odds Checker feed. I'm waving that captain's flag for Berger hard. I don't even believe it needs to be waved. I think he should be safe. That being said, look at how he played in Memphis. Look at how he played at the Open Championship. Look at how he played at the U.S. Open. This guy's got a knack for big events. You could say I will say they're more good finishes than ever really moments of contending. So you can bite back on me on that from the outright market. But I believe Berger's game is so ripe for a place like Liberty National. That could be Patrick Cantlay. You could, if you like your placings, that could be Scotty Scheffler for you. But for me, it's Daniel Berger. I can't quit him. 34-1. That was the number I got. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, Fox Bet hanging a 33-1 on Daniel Berger. The other thing to note about DB straight vibing is he gained nearly 10 strokes on approach not last week at the WGC FedEx St. Jude in Memphis 2 weeks ago. He was, I believe, first or second in the field that week. So he's definitely striking it well. As we continue down the board, I know that I've heard rumblings about Webb. Webb led the field in ball striking last week at the Wyndham Championship. And I think it's weird, Geoff. We had this situation where Webb's T7 last week is actually going to look worse because he finished one shot out of first place, right? But because there's a 6-way playoff, he drops to a 3-way tie for 7th when he was one shot worse than those guys. It's kind of funny.
I mean, that is, I hadn't really thought about it like that. That is a bit of a glaring, break for a few of those guys. Webb, I think, will be popular this week, Rick. I'm not betting it. I could see why other people are. I should say, I don't mean to put salt on any wound here, because I do this giving full credit, because I know you are not alone in this. The amount of people in the community that have had to sort of take the English and Henley losses back to back on the chin, that's humble. That's not easy, but you got to feel like you're just circling it. Your process is bang on. So, are you making any moves in the 30s? Is that who you're liking is Webb, or
I'm
what?
okay. I'm okay with Webb. I'm not sprinting to the window to get it. You're right. I mean, the last 2 weeks between English gagging it away, between Henley, just the slow motion car wreck. Listen, I'm not going to complain. It's been a great year, but those were 2 tough ones back to back. I'm actually kind of interested in Hideki at 40. 40-1 bet 365 has him at. This is a guy who the irons continue to be beyond elite. Even in the 2 rounds that he played at the Wyndham, he gained 3.6 strokes on approach. Bent grass he's basically a 0 putter on bent, which is about the most you can ask for from Hideki Matsuyama. So I'm just now, those 2 days, the 2 days, Geoff, off from the weekend at Wyndham, are probably much needed to go from Tokyo to Memphis to just take 2 days off. Don't touch a golf club. Come back and give me the best version of Hideki Matsuyama you can.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't think Hideki gets spoken about enough. But yeah, I've already been talked into Hideki a bit. I haven't been able to pull the trigger based where I already expect to be, Rick, with Rory at the top. And then one of JT or Bryson, and I'm in on Berger. It's pretty much where I need to be living. I'm also, as always, tempted by Victor Hovland. I know you're always sort of tempted by Victor. Are you worried that scrambling could be an issue here potentially, or just when you bet on Victor, you're expecting him to hit 16 of 18 green?
Yeah, it's kind of that.
You're betting on that sort of ceiling of his game, so you don't worry about that other part.
Yeah, I generally don't. If he's needed, and to his credit, longer term, he's gotten much better around the greens. But you're right, winning is such a ceiling outcome that if you are often greenside, and not that I think this is going to be a particular birdie fest, but I don't think it's going to play super difficult. That you're probably not winning the golf tournament one way or another. So I'm not really worried about it. When he wins, he's just gonna go scorched earth and hit every single green.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I get caught losing all that money playing him in exotics to win by multiple strokes. Because I do feel like it's going to be a baby Rory type first big win, field goal, touchdown, something big, fun, special. No 6-man playoff. That being said, he's got a win over, his whatever. His wins haven't been big ones, but I'm expecting that Hello World one to be big. So again, there's a lot of opportunity to build. Normally I like to build it out to maybe 6 guys, but 4 guys here, keeping it tighter is probably the way I'm going to go, but I always can get tempted north of 50. It's not hard for me to get sucked in.
Yeah, you start to see some really enticing names, and these guys are probably not going to make my card, but the things that interest me is always when I see something like Ian Poulter. So Ian Poulter, listen, it's Ryder Cup year. He's played well recently. The last time we were at Liberty National, he finished 10th. And what I love is a good discrepancy between books here, right? Some are offering him at 66-1. If you look real close and look real hard, you can find him at 90. I believe that's bet 365. So when I see a big discrepancy like that, it entices me more on some of these longer shot odds, but I can't imagine I'm going to be making any significant investment in these golfers here, 60 and longer.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, if I get burned, I get burned. But the winner of this Northern Trust has been, I think the stats show a top 40 in the world consistently. I think Mahan's like that outlier at 41. It's usually a lot tighter than that, from Reed to Bryson to DJ. If I get got by someone winning at the back, I don't know. I'll have to just take it on the chin and live with it. So my units are certainly going to be up the board this week. That's where I do believe the winner is going to come from. I will say, Rick, the 60s, I've even seen like a 66 on Tony Finau.
No, boy.
I just, all I want to say is, well, I should almost say Mayo even said this to me, but it's taken like this continued not winning streak and bad form for him to finally get like a fair number.
It's true.
A fair, not like a respectable fair number that despite the fact he hasn't won, you'd be like, okay, 60, 65. That's not like stupid. You don't have to bet him at like 28 or 32. And he does resemble a lot of past winners here and what they can do on a course like this, but I'm a big fanboy. It's no secret to anybody watching these vids.
FanDuel and Bet365 have him at 60 right now, which I always do find it fascinating. And I mean, we could spend hours on this. What the amount of time it takes odds makers to move the number on some guys very quickly, and other guys that just like Jordan Spieth for 2.5 years without a win, his number never moved, and then it finally started to adjust. It's just amazing.
Yeah, they did, and then they come down super fast, and they'll never adjust like the other way. If a guy gets cold, his Masters number isn't getting higher. Correct. But if he shows a sign of like winning or life, they're already knocking the future. So we're always on the short end. At least use an odds checker. Winning a bet's hard. At least when you win one, you may as well get the best number.
And you've gotten the best number, which is always super handy. So check out the grid, check out the big board. Certainly helps as this week goes on. But Geoff, we are in store for a good one. Make sure that you follow Geoff on Twitter. It's at GFienberg17. You can follow me at Rick Run Good. This has been your odds checker betting preview for this week's Northern Trust. Good luck. We'll catch you next time.